Are you wasting your time with this man? Is he really just not that into you? That's what we're going to be discussing today. Hello, my name is Matthew Coast, and welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be discussing the 10 signs that he's just not really that into you and what you should do instead. And so if you're ready to hear what the 10 signs are, type yes into the chat and let's get started. So number one, first thing that you want to look for, first sign is short answers. So anytime you're trying to have a conversation with him and he only gives you back like one word answers or really short answers, he doesn't try to pick up the conversation. That means that he's probably not that into you. There's only one exception for this, and that is if he's regularly still trying to meet up with you. If he still tries to meet up with you, this might not be that big of a deal. However, if he's not still trying to meet up with you, then it probably is a big deal. And so, all right. So that's one of the 10 signs. If you're here with us right now, type hi in the chat and tell us where in the world you're watching this from. It's cool to see women from all over the world watching these live streams. So you deserve somebody who wants to have real conversations with you. So don't settle for anything less. Number two is he rarely or never reaches out. So if you want to talk to him, you have to message him first, right? You need to call him. You need to text him. You need to reach out. You need to do all of the initiating of conversation. So why would this happen? Because he doesn't really care or want to connect with you that badly, at least not nearly as badly as you do. And here's my opinion. You've come way too far to start chasing a man like this. And if you're the one that's always doing everything, if you're putting in the majority of the effort, you're reaching out the majority of the times, all that kind of stuff, you are chasing him and you do not want to chase him. So don't chase him. Don't chase a man. Never, ever chase a man. Number three is he doesn't try to meet up at all, right? And you don't want to have a pen pal. We have way too many women in our community who do this, where they end up like talking to a guy over the internet or something, and it's the one guy that they're talking to, and he never tries to meet up with them. And at some point, he just disappears because he didn't really care from the beginning. And how do you know? And how do we know that he never really cared? Because he never tries to meet up with you. He doesn't try to do anything. You want to actually have relationships with real people that you meet up with. This whole thing where people are like falling in love and getting attached to these people that they've never met before, it most of the time it just causes lots of pain and problems for the person getting attached, and it doesn't amount to anything real. And if you do end up meeting the person, that person could be completely different than what you thought that person was like. And so I suggest that you only value men who prove to you through their words and actions over time that they value you too. So don't value a guy. Don't put him on a pedestal. Don't start calling him your soulmate. Don't tell him that he's the man of your dreams. Any of that kind of stuff. If he's not doing those things with you as well, if he's not proving to you over time with his words and actions that he's the right guy for you. Number four is he puts in very little effort. So it's not right for you to give so much to a man and for him to put in little to no effort and energy back towards you. Relationships are built together. And if he cares so little that he's putting in the minimum amount of effort to spend time with you and hang out with you and do all that kind of stuff, just remember this: you deserve better than that. You want a man who will move mountains and travel to the ends of the earth to be with you, not some guy that's going to send you a text like, "What you doing? You know, come on over Netflix and chill," and that's all that you've got going. Number five is he refers to you, or he calls you his friend when he's around other people. So in the initial couple weeks of dating, this is okay because he doesn't probably know what's appropriate to call you or how to refer to you or any of that kind of stuff. But if you've been together for more than a couple weeks, if you guys have gotten physically intimate with each other, or you're clearly more than friends, he shouldn't be calling you his friend. So do not settle for that nonsense. If you get what I'm talking about, type yes into the chat. If you don't get what I'm talking about, ask whatever questions you have, and I will answer them here in just a little bit. So number 6 is he just doesn't show up at all. And the way this looks is he waits until the last minute and then he ends up canceling the date, or he forgets. We had this happens sometimes with women that join our community where they're like, oh, he just forgot. He forgot that we were supposed to have a date, right? You shouldn't have to remind a man that you're meeting up. You want a man who is excited to meet up with you, who's excited to see you. He thinks of you in his mind and he's just like counting the days, counting the hours down, like, oh, I can't wait to meet with her again. It's going to be so amazing, right? And if he forgot about it, if he cancels at the last minute, if he double books things and doesn't show up or any of that kind of stuff, it's because he doesn't really care that much. And you don't want a guy who doesn't really care that much. You want a guy who is excited about you. Who cares? Number 7 is he waits a day or more to respond. If a man waits 24 hours or more to respond to you, it's because he has other priorities that are going on in his life, which sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes we get women that are like, if a guy ever waits more than an hour to respond to me, he's right. And that's, in my opinion, that's nonsense, right? Like, most people have lives, unless he's just, you know what I mean, he literally has nothing else to do, then he probably has a life, and sometimes he has things that come up and all that kind of stuff. But if this consistently happens, like it happens a lot, it's usually because he just doesn't really care that much, and he's always got anything else as a priority over you, right? If he's turning everything into a priority, oh, I gotta go and floss my cat's teeth, I gotta go and kick this stone down the street, or whatever, right? And so he's coming up with every excuse as to why he didn't text you back or whatever. It's because he just doesn't care that much. He just doesn't care that much. Number 8 is he avoids important talk. So he doesn't want to talk about what you are to each other, or he doesn't want to talk about what he's looking for. He gets weird about any kinds of conversations that are important conversations. He doesn't want to get vulnerable. He doesn't want to do any of that kind of stuff. Why? Because he doesn't want to, because he doesn't really care that much. That's why. Ultimately, it's because he's not that into you. He doesn't really care about you that much. He might be emotionally shut down. He might be in a space where he's not really ready for a relationship or anything serious. And so he's avoiding those conversations because he knows that at some point you're probably going to create a standard where you want something more and you're not going to settle for anything less. And he wants to avoid those conversations as much as possible to get as much out of you before you decide that you want something more, unfortunately. So number 9 is he seems distant and secretive. And so if he seems like he's distant, or he's like withholding a bunch of little secrets, or like, you're like trying to see his phone. He's always like, whenever he puts his phone, turns his phone on, it's like you're over here and he's like, oh yeah, like he won't let you see the screen of his phone. He's putting it down like this. So you can't see any of the messages that he gets and all that kind of stuff, because he's just trying to be distant, right? He's preventing you from connecting. He's preventing you from finding out who he is and what's really going on. And the reason that guys do this is because he doesn't want to get overly attached. He doesn't want you to find out who he really is. He's got his own issues going on. And a lot of times guys like that, he doesn't want to, right? He doesn't want something more. If he wanted something more, he'd open up, he'd talk to you. He wouldn't worry about what's going on in his phone and whether you're seeing it or not, because he values you so highly that he's going to be like, hey, I don't care. The only exception to this is if he's had a past of women who have like freaked out on him about little things that he didn't think were all that important and thought that maybe you would do the same thing. That is a situation. But if you're looking at all these different things and you're seeing all these different things happening with a guy, it's because he doesn't really like you. And that's why there's a bunch of different signs. The more of these signs that are true, the less likely he is that he really likes you all that much. So number 10 is he keeps you a secret. In my opinion, no woman should be a secret, especially not you. If this is a major red flag that there's something else going on, and you deserve a man who wants to show you off to his friends. He wants to show you off to the world. He's proud that he has you in his life, and he wants everyone to know about it. If he's keeping you a secret, there's something wrong there. And most women, most of the time, you can feel if there's something wrong, right? You just feel it. You can feel it with your intuition. Women have a powerful intuition. And so the more you learn to recognize that and trust that and believe that and allow that to tell you what's actually going on in the situation, the better off you're going to be. So what are some other signs that you've seen that a man is just not that into you or into another woman or whatever? Type it into the chat. What are some signs that you've seen that a guy's just not into a woman? Let us know. And so let me go back over these again, and then we'll get to the questions. Number 1 is short answers. 2 is he rarely or never reaches out. 3 is he doesn't even try to meet up. Number 4 is he puts in very little effort. Number 5 is he refers to you as his friend, his friendo, right? Number 6 is he doesn't show up. Number 7 is he waits a day or more to respond. Number 8 is he avoids important talks. Number 9 is he seems just distant and secretive. Number 10, he keeps you a secret. Keeps you a secret. It's not good. It's not a good thing. Keeping you a secret is not a good thing. All right, so what questions do you have? Let me know what your questions are, and I will get to them here in the chat. Let me know what your questions are, and I'll get to them here in the chat. Midlands, I'm not sure where that is in the UK. Interesting. Lots of people from all over the world. So cool seeing all these people all over the place. Diana says, totally agree. The confusion is terrible on their own true intentions on building a relationship or not. That's right. You don't want to hear it. Surya says, thank you for your wisdom, Matthew. What about a man who tell you he is in love with someone he met online and never met because LDR, but is super sweet when we meet? What to believe, words or actions? So, Surya, I have a simple formula for how to know which one you should believe, words or actions. When you look at the words and you look at the actions, and you look at them and you say, which one of these two is worse, words or actions? If the words are worse, then you believe the words. If the actions are worse, then you believe the actions. Always believe the worst of the two. In your situation, if he's telling you that he fell in love with somebody but never met him, I mean, I don't know, maybe he fell in love with a scammer, or who knows what's going on with that, but doesn't sound like a situation that you want to be in, Surya. Doesn't sound like a situation you want to be in. But always believe the worst of the two. Fiona sent me $1.99. Well, thank you, Fiona. You are awesome. You rock. You rock. You rock. Sarah's saying, hi, Superman. Do I look like Superman again? I'm going with the Superman look here. Going with the Superman look. Where am I sitting now? I am currently in Miami, Florida at the moment. I'm staying in Miami Beach, Florida. It's really nice here. This is a photo on the wall of the bridge that goes from Miami to Miami Beach. It's pretty cool. Shang says, "Hi, Matt. Thank you for the splendid live today. How to convince a man to share his problem emotionally without nagging him, obviously, just to gain their trust sensibly? Thank you so much." Well, it depends on what's going on that you're looking for him to open up. The best thing that you can do is to, like you said, build trust. And the way that you build trust is it's in the difficult times, right? You build trust in the difficult times. It's not built in the easy times. And so I want to bring a caveat to that, which is that one of the ways that you can build trust is by just being transparent and open, and just like, if you want him to open up emotionally, the best way to do it is to go first. It's called the go first principle in psychology, where you open up about something that's going on with you so that other people around you feel like they can open up about things that is going on with them as well. And so if you do that, he's far more likely to open up to you about things that are going on in his life, right? Other than that, you do not want to nag him. You don't want to make it a big deal. Just give him space, right? If he's got issues and he's like, he wants to open up about them or whatever, like, don't nag him, don't pressure him, don't push him, any of that kind of stuff, but give him time to open up to you. Good question there, Shang. Also, if anybody's watching this, if you want my program, you can get my program for free. It'll help you teach you how to get a guy to fall in love with you, connect with his heart, what to do if he pulls away and disappears on you, all that kind of stuff, how to connect with a man, all that kind of stuff. You can get it for free. Go to theforeverwomanformula.com and pick up the program. Pick up the program. You can get it for free. Pick up the program. Caricia says, "Hi from Northern Virginia. Is it a good idea to be friends with a married man? I spend lots of time writing with a married man, but he drops everything when his wife calls. Even though I don't feel romantic, it still makes me feel undervalued." Well, my suggestion is that you don't. His wife is his priority, right? You're not his priority. He's married, Caricia. So his wife will always take priority over you, and she should. She should take priority over you. And, if you want to be friends with him or whatever, you can be friends with him, but don't expect him to put you over his wife. That's crazy, right? He's married. He's married. Don't think about it in terms of romantic. Leave married men alone. If you're starting to feel attached, if you're feeling like, which it sounds like what's going on here, is you're starting to value him a lot, and you are starting to become possessive of him, right? Which is why you're talking about him, prioritizing his wife when she calls, right? It's his wife, and it's normal for him to prioritize her over you. And the only reason that you care is because you're starting to overvalue him. You're starting to get possessive of him. You're starting to feel like you want to get your validation from him, and he's not doing what it is that you want him to do. And so my suggestion for the time being is that you stay away from him and find men that aren't like that, and start working on your own connection with other people, building an abundance of connection. I talk about this a lot, where you build an abundance of connection so that you aren't so worried about getting your connection from any one person, and get your own validation from yourself. That's one of the best things that you can do, is figure out what you're missing. Why you're feeling like you need a guy who's completely unavailable to start prioritizing you over his wife, right? Like, why is that going on with you, Caricia? And start just asking those questions to yourself. And I don't mean like a short question going, oh, why, like sit down and think about it. Spend some time thinking about it. Talk to other people about it. Join our community. Get my program, theforeverwomanformula.com. Join our community. Talk to the other women in there. Talk to the coaches in there and find out what they might think could be going on with you as well. Explain your situation, explain what's going on with you. Has this happened before? Have you felt this way before about a guy who is unavailable? That's the kind of stuff you want to think about and ask, Carissa, because, trying to get a married man to prioritize you over his wife is a bad strategy, even for friendship. Even for friendship. Maria says, hi, with online dating, how do you tell these men to go away? Well, most online dating has a function where you can either block or unmatch people and it'll stop them from ever contacting you again. And so that's what I suggest that you do, is just do that, because it's pretty normal. Like it's very, very normal. If you look at most men, and they're like, if you go into most men's Tinder profiles, what you'll see is that there are like, usually hundreds of women that they've matched with over time, if they've been doing it for any amount of time. And most of them, the guy has sent the woman a message and the woman never responded, or she responded once or twice, but then stopped responding. And that's pretty normal, right? That's normal behavior on these dating apps. And so it's not a big deal for you to just block or unmatch somebody that you're not interested in online dating. It's not a big deal at all. It's normal behavior. It's normal behavior. It's only semi-rude. it's only semi-rude. You can tell him you're going to block him before you do. Sally says, Matthew, my man sent me a duty roster of his. He works daytime, sometimes at night. So mostly when I call at night, when he's off duty, he doesn't pick. He must be cheating, right? We live in different towns. Not necessarily. I mean, he could be, or maybe he just wants some time to himself, right? It kind of depends on the guy, like it's really, really hard to know in that kind of a situation. What you might want to do is just get curious with him and ask him some questions. He might lie to you, but this is something that you should probably know. I mean, you're living in different towns, so it's some kind of long distance situation. I mean, here's the deal, Sally. You're either going to trust him or you're not going to trust him. He's either deserving of trust or he's not deserving of trust. You can be curious and you can ask questions and just find out what he has to say about it. And then you can determine whether he's somebody that's worthy of trust or not. And if he's not worthy of trust, then you shouldn't be with him in the beginning. And if he is worthy of trust, then you're just going to have to trust him, because there's no way to actually know. He might be getting involved. I mean, I don't know what kind of a guy he is, but he may be getting involved in, underground, Dungeons and Dragons tournaments. And he's like so excited about it that he, prioritizes that over talking to you at night. I mean, it's hard to know. Could he be in another relationship? Absolutely. It's possible. But it's a difficult thing to just assume that he is, right? And being that you're in a long distance situation, it's hard for you to know. Question is, are you in a committed relationship? Have you guys talked about it? Have you had the conversation about it? How well do you actually know this man? There's a lot of questions that you should be asking yourself. And, at the end of the day, you want to trust your intuition and you want to determine whether this guy is trustworthy or not. Good question there, Sally. Good question, Sally. Laura says, question. I was asking a man questions and he told me I don't know what questions to ask you about you. Isn't that a red flag or not? No, not necessarily. I mean, it's one of those things where I've actually run into this situation with women in my past as well, where they're like, wow, you aren't asking me enough questions about myself. And I'm like, tell me something about yourself. And they're like, well, you need to be more specific. And I'm like, how am I going to be more specific if you don't tell me anything about yourself? Right. And so, I don't know. It could be, it might not be. It kind of depends. right? If is he, is he doing other things? Does he care about you? Does he seem like he cares about you? I wouldn't get so caught up in one little thing, because it could be something that doesn't matter that you're blowing up into a big deal. And it could be something that does matter, and you want to look at the rest of the picture, right? So the rest of the picture is this guy treating you well? Is he consistently doing the right things? Is he, saying the right things to you? Are all the other things good and right, and in going in the right direction? And if they aren't, then this is one thing that might be an addition to all the other things that are going on that might be a problem. If everything else is all right with him, it might just be that you're making a big deal out of nothing. And so you want to look at the whole picture, as opposed to just this one little thing, like he doesn't know what kind of questions to ask you. Or are you opening yourself up to him? Are you, telling him about yourself? Like normal conversations, the way that they work is you're not just sitting there waiting for the person to ask you questions about yourself. There's a fluid part of it, right? Somebody asks you a question, or you ask somebody a question, and then you relate to them with something that's going on with you, or something about you, and you're sharing information about them. I mean, if they never ask you a question about yourself, that's kind of weird. I was just in Austin, Texas, and I was like, I like went to this lounge, and I was like hanging out in this lounge, and I've never experienced this before in my life, where I like hung out with these people for a couple hours. I was like hanging out with these people just as friends, right? And I was talking to them, and the entire conversation was me asking questions of them, and they never asked a single question about me. Literally, I mean, I think by the end of the conversation, they felt really good about themselves, but they literally didn't know anything about me, right? I mean, only things that I like offered up and talked to them about. And so that was kind of a weird thing, right? And that might show disinterest, but it might also show a lack of social ability, right? Social intelligence. So if they're like they don't know how to have conversations with people, that's a normal thing that's going on, especially nowadays where everybody's on the internet, and people aren't even like really interacting with people in the real world as much as they used to. A lot of people have no social skills whatsoever anymore. And so you want to look at the whole picture there, Laura, instead of just looking at one little place. Look at the whole picture. Look at the whole picture. Figure out what's going on. Fiona says, can't wait for the New Zealand borders to open. So overwaiting. Borders will be shut 25 months before opening. Killing me. Love the lives is awesome. Well, thanks for being here, Fiona. Thanks for the $20. I appreciate you. Here's air high fives to you. You're awesome. Thanks for being here. Love having you here, Fiona. You rock. Jennifer says, I love your positive and powerful video, Matthew. Well, you are welcome. I'm glad you like it. Glad you like it. Glad you like it. If you have any questions, just put a question mark in your question. That signals to my brain that it's a question that I should answer. It's a question that I should answer. Let's see. What else we have here? Thea says, it makes sense, and I love this, but it's not easy to give up or talk about. What to do? Just go away? Talking about feels is so needy and insecure. Not necessarily. It's not necessarily insecure to talk about your feelings, or like what's going on with you. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal if you're like, think about this in a more macro terms, right? A lot of women, they'll like say something to a man, and then he'll react a certain way, and then she'll be like, oh, all men don't like this, or it's insecure if you do that, right? But you got to look at it in a bigger picture. Are you normally really confident? Are you coming from a confident space when you talk about your feelings? Or are you coming from a space of neediness, right? Most neediness and insecurity isn't about what you're actually saying. It's about where you are feeling, where you're coming from, how you're feeling when you're having this conversation. If you're coming from a place of feeling needy and insecure, then what you say is likely to come across as being needy and insecure. If you're coming from a place of being confident and you just talk about things in a nonchalant way, where you're not, living in it or living through. I mean, if you're coming from a place, you're like, I need you, right? He's like, that's probably going to come across as being needy. And not all neediness is bad, but if it's overwhelming, if it's all the time, all that kind of stuff, it's definitely going to be a huge turnoff to guys. So, but if you're coming from a place where you're just like, hey, like, this is how I felt about things, this is what happened, this is, something that's happened to me or whatever, and you're just saying it from a matter of fact way and from a confident way, especially in the early stages, if you're talking about things from a space of already accomplishing or already getting over things, it's not going to come across as needy. It's not going to come across as needy. Although that's a really good question there, Thea. Great question. Julieta says, yes, you look like a Superman. Well, maybe I am a Superman. Anna says, hi, Matthew Coast. Well, hi, Anna Melina. Why does a man's goes from extremely excited, happy, laughing, and talking all the time, and then all of a sudden goes from hot to extremely cold in distance? Well, it could be that he was just having fun in the moment, right? Have you ever, like, a lot of times women come to me and they're like, oh, I don't get it. Like, how can a man be so excited about me suddenly and then all of a sudden just be turned off by me or like distant or cold or whatever? And think about it for yourself too. Have you ever had a situation where you were really turned on and excited about a man, and then, a couple of minutes later or an hour later or, a day later or whatever, you didn't care anymore, right? It's the same thing. It happens all the time with both men and women. And this is actually a question that we get a lot in the men's dating side as well, where they're like, how can a woman just, like, be so into me and say she wants to go on a date and then she just doesn't show up, right? And it's pretty normal. It's a pretty normal thing to have happen. It's just a reflection of how he feels in the moment. And one of the ways that, and it could also have to do with his priorities, right? He might have other priorities that are going on that take him over here and over there. And the question is, what are you doing in that time? Are you sitting there going, oh, I can't believe this man isn't talking to me, and why doesn't he love me more? Oh, we had such a great 1 hour conversation. Why doesn't he love me? Right? Or are you going, okay, I've got other things going on in my life. If he decides that he wants to come back to me, then I can gauge whether this is a situation that I want to be in or not. That's what you want to do. You want to have other things going on. You want to have a life. You want to have other dating prospects, so you're not overly concerned and worried and attached and overvaluing him and trying to figure out what's going on with him, right? Who cares what's going on with him? He has other things going on. He might not be that interested in you. He might be interested in you, but he's got other things going on. Or he might have had lots of experiences where he was bombarding a woman too much with messages. And, some women out there, if you message them every day, they get bored with you really quickly. And so a lot of guys, like, if you understand where they're coming from, which is they don't want to screw things up with you, assuming that they really like you, then he, might be trying to play things cool so he doesn't come off as creepy or overly into you and turn you off, right? And so you have to remember that as well. And from another standpoint, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what's going on with him. You need to have your own life and your own things going on so that you're not overly attached to him and what's going on with him and worried about him and what's going on with him and why doesn't he contact me and all that kind of stuff. So have other things going on. Have other things going on there, Anna. You want to have other things going on. Other things going on. Miriam says, hi, Math. Does anybody call me Math? I don't know. My boyfriend doesn't want to tell me where the relationship is leading us to. Okay, we've been dating for almost 8 months now. Okay. He gives me attention, but whenever I ask him about us, he'll tell me that he has someone he wants to get married to, but he mentor my movement even when he's far, and I make any movement that he's not aware of, he'll be shouting at me. I literally have no idea what that last part is even talking about, but it sounds horrible, Miriam. And if he's been with you for 8 months, he knows definitively whether he wants something real with you or not. However, so if you are, let's see, almost 8 months now, he has 10. Yeah. So here's the deal, Miriam. You don't want to waste your time with this guy anymore. He already knows, right? He's telling you that there's somebody, he gives you attention, but he says that he has someone he wants to marry, and it's not you. I mean, just get rid of this guy. Like, go find a guy that wants you, Miriam. You are past the time of whether this guy knows whether he wants something real with you or not. And if he's saying that he wants to get married to somebody, but he won't tell you where this is going, that's a big problem. And you already know the answer to this, Marianne. You're just asking to get reassurance, I'm guessing here. And the reassurance is this guy doesn't like you that much. He likes somebody else a lot more, but he's getting his needs met, his emotional needs met through you. And so you need to cut that off and go find a guy that really wants to be with you, and use my program. I suggest you get it. You can get it for free. It's called the Forever Woman. It's at the foreverwomanformula.com. Get it for free there. Get the program for free. You can get it for free. Gemma says, yes, he's married. Yes, Matt's right on that. His wife is number one. Yep. Leave married men alone. Leave those married men alone. Eva says, hi, Matthew. My boyfriend just went ghost on me. He is not texting me and he is not replying my calls. But last time we talked, we were happy. What could be wrong? Well, there could be a million things that are wrong. You won't find out until you talk to him about it. And so what you want to do is just give him some space. Just lean back, give him some space. When he does, I mean, if he's been ignoring you and ignoring your calls and all that kind of stuff, what you want to do is make him work for you to get you back. So if he ends up coming back, which he probably will, so give him space, stop contacting him, stop smothering him, stop trying to figure out what's going on with him. Just leave him alone. Just completely leave him alone and go live your life. And when he comes back to you, make him work for it. Make him work to earn you back. Find out what was going on, and just make him work to get you back. That's what you want to do, Eva. Make him work. Make him earn your love, attention, commitment, your body, your commitment, your life, your anything, right? Anything, your touch, anything that he gets from you, make him earn it. Make him earn it. Make him work for it. If he's going to disappear and ignore you and treat you badly, then one, that's a big red flag. And two, you need to make him earn it if he wants to get you back. That's what he needs to do, is earn you. He needs to earn you. Needs to earn you back. DD says, yes, Matt, from a personal standpoint, I had to learn the hard way where I had to learn to spend more time and less time doing, because men will lose interest quickly. Sung Hong Dong says, hi, Matt. He openly said he still misses his ex-fiancée and still meets her a few times a year when she called off their engagement 4 years ago. He said that we should be friends, but acted romantic. Is that okay? Not if you want something real, Sun Hong Dong. That is not okay, right? Remember, whenever a man's words and actions are out of alignment, always believe the worst of the two. So he's saying that he just wants to be friends, but he's acting romantic around you. Nope. All he gets is friend zone. Just friend zone him, and if you don't want to be friends with him, then get rid of him out of your life there. Sun Hong Dong. Does that sound racist when I say that? All right, so Villa says, do you recommend a single female date her own single doctor or lawyer? I'm getting extra attention in my doctor's office, however, not unprofessional or wrong. I suspect he is lonely. Well, if you want to date him, you are welcome to date him. I suggest you find a different lawyer or doctor, whatever this is. Doctor and lawyer. I mean, are you getting this from a doctor and a lawyer, or is this a man who is both a doctor and, you know what? If this guy is both a doctor and a lawyer, that is highly impressive. I mean, you know how much work it takes just to be a doctor or a lawyer. If you're both of them, that is a amazing guy right there. Yeah, I mean, you can date him. It's not a big deal. Just you don't want to, ideally, you don't want to mix personal and professional things together because that can turn into a nightmare. So that's what you want to think about, Villa. Gloria says, my LDR relationship is still working out, but I'm wondering, I want to trust him, my God. I want to feel good, but why I feel the need to help him. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Gloria, but I mean, it's pretty natural for everybody to want to help somebody. You know, it's natural for all of us to want to help people, you know, because we're caring and we're compassionate, and, you know, we look at people and we're like, oh, we want them to do better, especially if we're romantically interested in somebody. We want them to do better. So we're like, I want to help you in whatever way I can. My name is Gloria, and I want to help you. Oh, yeah. My name is Gloria. I want to help you. Oh, yeah. Okay. Andrea says, what if you were dating someone and they break up with you and then date someone else and then want to have sex with you and basically use you to cheat, but you were just dating them? What does that mean? So, wow, this is a wild. Okay, so you're dating someone and they break up with you and then date someone else and then they want to hook up with you and use you to cheat. It means that they have low moral values and they are cheating on somebody, and they might have cheated on you and you didn't know about it. And I mean, it's a mess. That is a mess. Andrea, you are in a mess. And one of the biggest things that I suggest is that, if at all possible, avoid messy situations. And this is a messy situation. This dude is all over the place. He's cheating on his girlfriend that he broke up with you to be with. I mean, that is not a person that you want to be with, Andrea. You want to find a different guy. You want to throw that guy into a dumpster, and you want to find a guy that is sparkly and clean, smells good. You want to find a guy that smells good. You want him to be smart, and you want him to be successful, and more important than anything else, you want him to be loyal and have strong moral values. That's what you want there, Andrea. And I suggest you don't hang out with that dude anymore. Stop hooking up with him. Stop hooking up with him, Andrea. It's not good for you, Andrea. It's not good for you. Stop hooking up with him. Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it. Stop it, Andrea. Anja says, I'm texting with one guy for 4 months now. He is honest to me that he cannot have a relationship this moment because his children are not over the breakup from their parents. He texts me all day, every day, because he don't want to lose me. I don't know what to do. Should I wait for him or not? No, you should absolutely 100%, Anja. Anja, listen to me. Listen to me good. Listen to me well. I'm not sure if that's correct grammar or not. Listen to me, Anja. Do not wait for this man. Don't wait for him. Tell him whatever's going on over there, that's fine. But go figure it out. Tell him that he can go figure it out. And when he's ready to get into a relationship, then he can come back and talk to you. And if you're still single, you can talk about it and think about it and have a conversation about it. And if not, okay. That's what you want to do. You don't want to be waiting for men, Anja, especially men that are trying to get their needs met without fulfilling yours, right? Right now, what he's doing is he's going, I want my needs met. I've got these needs. They're not being met, and I want them to be met with you. But he's going, and I know you have some things that you want too, but I'm not going to give those to you. Sorry, I've got this other third-party thing that's preventing me from fulfilling your needs. And so I'm not going to fulfill your needs. You want to still do this? You want to still do this, Anja? You want to still do it? And you're like, and then you came here and you're like, should I do it? And my answer is no. Do not do it, Anja. Go find another guy. And if he comes back into the picture at some point and he's ready and he's open and his kids are okay and all that kind of stuff, that's fine. And if not, that's fine too. That's fine too. Gemma says, what about when you're happy, but people just crap talk everything you say, do, and you honestly just don't know the right answer and questions? So, Gemma, what you want to do is you want to create a bubble. You want to create a bubble of certainty and value around yourself. And if people are crap talking you, you want to get them out of your life. Make sure they're not in your bubble. You don't want them in your bubble. And you only want people and good influences around you that are only saying good things. And sometimes that's hard, right? It could be your family, it could be your friends that are crap talking you. My suggestion is until you're in a place where you're really strong and powerful, you just kick them out of your life. Just get rid of them. You don't need those crap talkers. You don't need crap talkers in your life there, Gemma. So get rid of them. Just get rid of those and strengthen yourself, strengthen your self-esteem, strengthen your power within yourself. Have good influences around you, people that want to help you and lift you up and lift themselves up and that you're lifting up, and be a good person that they want to be around and all that kind of stuff. That's what you want, Gemma. It's what you want. That's what you want, Gemma. That's what you want. Shar says, hi, Matt from California. Love your live streams. Well, thank you. You say you're an introvert, but you're always so animated on your live streams. Are you really an introvert? Yes. The answer is yes, Shar. I am really an introvert. Let me tell you something about introverts. I am a person that, what an introvert is somebody that gets their energy from being by themselves. And so if I am in crowds for very long, all my energy will get drained and I will have to go sit somewhere until my energy builds back up. And so one of the things that I'm really good at doing is presenting. And I'm also really good at being kind of one-on-one with people, which is one of the things that I like about this and doing presentations. I naturally do like talks and stuff. And I'm good at like pulling people out, and it's better live because I can like really get into what's going on with a person when it's live. When it's just these questions, it's hard for me to know what's going on with somebody because it's just, like a couple sentences question on a thing. But the answer is, yeah, I'm an introvert. And being animated is something that I've developed because I enjoy it. It's kind of like an expression of who I am. And it's kind of fun, and I think it's entertaining to people. I think it's entertaining to people. Entertaining to people. But yes, I'm an introvert. I am an introvert. I'm an introvert. Yeah. Folly Care says, I want a lawyer doctor too. Yeah, I want one too. I want one too. Bougie says, how to turn a guy on after turning him off by elaborating an insecurity. Been talking for 2 to 3 months now. Well, I mean, is he completely turned off by you? Why is he what you're talking to him? Have you met with him? Are you guys actually dating? I have a lot of questions here, Bougie T. But one of the challenges is with dating in general is that in most scenarios, unless you have a long history with somebody, if you kind of really screw things up with them, you don't get do-overs. It's more like a video game that doesn't have a saved game function. And instead, you kind of have to start all over with new people, which is one of the reasons why it's better to date multiple people at a time. That way, if you do mess something up, one, it's not as big of a deal because you're not as like freaked out about it. And if you make it less of a big deal, the person will make it less of a big deal, which is why abundance dating is so valuable for so many people, because it changes the way that you act. It changes how you are, because instead of coming from neediness and overvaluing a guy and trying to make him do the right things, and, why doesn't this man love me? And I screwed up, and how do I fix things? And how do I change him? Instead, you come from a place you're like, I messed up and that sucks. Oh, well, there's other guys I'm still dating. It's not a big deal, right? And if you're just dating one dude at a time, it's a lot harder, because it's like, because it's one dude, And so, if you've turned him off, I mean, it depends, you're still talking to him. Have you been meeting up together? I have all kinds of questions about this, Boo GT. I have all kinds of questions about it, but the simple answer is that if you have enough going on, if he's interested in you enough, it won't matter. If he's not interested in you enough, then it matters a lot. And so there's and there's not a lot that you can really do about it. And so the question is, where are you on the spectrum of, he has a lot of interest and there's a lot that's kind of gone on between the two of you, and he has very, very little interest and there's very little that's gone on between the two of you. Other than that, my suggestion is that you pick up a copy of my program, Forever Woman, at the foreverwomanformula.com, and check it out. You can get it for free. And my suggestion is that you use what's in that program with him and with other men, because it'll teach you how to connect with his heart. It'll teach you how to build an emotional connection. It'll teach you how to build desire, how men fall in love, and how to build that love with the guy. So that's what I suggest you do. Bougie. That's what I suggest you do, Bougie. Do it, Bougie. Bougie, Bougie, Bougie. Get that bougie. Bougie says, what does it mean if he texts you less after seeing you in a first date? How to make him initiate a second date? Been ignoring him and spacing all replies, and sometimes posting activities in story. So you have been ignoring him and spacing your replies? Well, I mean, if you're like, just mirror him, what he's doing. And at some point, he either needs to, set up another date, or you need to cut him off, Bucci. And so the way that you do that is the best way, in my opinion, is just letting him know, right? Just being like, hey, like sending him a text message like, hint, you should ask me out on another date, right? If you send him something like that, it'll like unequivocally make him be like, oh, okay, I'm either going to take him out on another date or I'm not, or take her out on another date or I'm not. And so if he doesn't, that's fine. Just cut him off and find other guys that you're dating and talk to those guys and work with those guys. If he does, then you just, because a lot of guys, sometimes they're not sure, you're spacing out your texts, right? And you're ignoring him. I don't know what that means, but I never suggest ignoring a guy. And so if you're doing that, it's quite possible that he doesn't think that you really like him that much. That's very, very possible. And so my suggestion is that you just cut to the middle, stop playing all the games with him, trying to, space out your text messages and ignoring him and all that stuff. Just stop doing that nonsense. And instead, cut through all the clutter. Say, hey, I had a good time with you, and I think you should ask me out on another date. And he'll tell you, he'll either ask you out on another date or he won't. And if he does, great. And if he doesn't, then don't talk to him anymore. Find other guys that value you more and are more interested in you. That's what you should do, Bougie. Stop playing the game. Stop playing games, Bougie. Games are not good. They're not good for you. They're not good for the man. Stop it, Bougie. Stop it. And instead, use my Forever Woman program. Get your bougie over to this website and watch the video and check out the program. Get your bougie in that program, Bougie. Is that? I don't know. For some reason, I feel like that's racist. Karen, want a date with you. Jean says, stop dating if not sure to you. Stop dating if not sure to you. Stop dating if not sure to you. I agree. Stop dating. Stop dating. Like Jean says, stop dating if not sure to you. Stop the dating if not sure to you. Okay. So, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Queen's mantra real quick. So, with me, take some deep breaths in. So, take a deep breath in and then breathe out. Take another deep breath in and breathe out. And then take a third deep breath in and just breathe out any frustrations, any worries, any frustrations about what a guy's doing, any anxiety you have, any whatever's going on with you, anything that's not serving you, just breathe it out. Just breathe it out. And come to a place of stillness within yourself and in your body. And just remember your value. And what we're going to be doing here, saying the Queen's mantra. Saying the Queen's mantra like we always do. We always say it 3 times. Are you ready? You ready for the Queen's mantra? Here it goes. I am valuable. I am worthy. I deserve to be cherished. I am valuable. I am worthy. I deserve to be cherished. I am valuable. I am worthy. And I deserve to be cherished. And leaving here, I want you to remember that even if a guy isn't really that into you, if he's not doing what you want him to be doing, if he's not showing you off to his friends and family, if he's not treating you with respect, if he's being distant and secretive, if he's not showing up for dates, he's putting in little effort, he's doing all those things, right? He's just giving you short answers, he doesn't contact you, any of that kind of stuff. It's not a determination of your value. How a man treats you does not determine your value and how worthy you are of being in a great relationship, whether you're actually enough or not. There's some men that you're never going to be enough for because they're not the right man for you. You want to go where a man already values you, where a man already thinks of you as great, where a man sees you and thinks that you're an amazing, beautiful, wonderful, awesome woman that he would be lucky to have in a great relationship. He would be lucky if he could convince you to commit to him. That's the situation that you want to be in. You don't want to be in these situations where you're trying to convince men that you're the right woman for them. You don't want to be in these situations where you're trying to, make a guy want to be with you or go on a date with you or any of that kind of stuff. Just if you feel like you have to play games, if you feel like you're unsure of what's going on, just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. If he wants you, he will come for you. He will come to you. He'll ask you out on a date. He will try to get to know you. He'll try to build a relationship with you. And if he's not doing those things, that's fine. He's not for you. Find somebody that values you. Find somebody who wants to be with you. Find someone who wants to love you and treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. That's what you want to do. So thank you for being here with me today. I will speak with you again soon. And always remember, you are worth it. Have a great night, great day, great evening, great morning, wherever you are in the world.